G'day guys, welcome to the Benilby Ranges. It's 40 degrees, stinking hot, lots of flies around. I want to run you guys through all the changes I've done to the 79. Yes, I know I've done more changes to the 79. Back to steel wheels, got the Treps on with the internal bead locks, new tray which has completely changed my configuration of setting it up with a secret box. Let's get into it guys. The trepidors. Now these are absolutely ridiculous. You would not want to drive on these on the highway, definitely not. Do not recommend it. But for what I used these for over the past 4 days, they were absolutely incredible. So I've got internal bead locks. There's a red valve and then there's a normal valve. The red valve is the internal bead lock. They're called second air. They cost me about 1,500 bucks. Hard to find anyone who wanted to fit them for me, and the guys who fitted them for me didn't want me to tell anyone on social media because they don't want to fit them to other people's tires because they're a pain in the ass to fit onto a rim. As you can see, they had to drill another hole into the rim. To get the full potential out of these tires, you have to run an internal bead lock or a bead lock rim. The bead locks have kept the air inside this tire. I gouged it a couple of times here on a rock, I think, or it might have been a stick. We went through so much rough stuff and I started getting an air leak. Now it will still leak air out of this tire if I'm on a rock a certain way and I'm really twisting the whole tire up. Then it will leak a tiny bit of air, but it hasn't gone flat since I put extra air in it after it went flat the first time. I had these down to 15 PSI, the front's down to 12 PSI, absolutely gripping everything. I can't recall slipping anywhere really. These have been freaking awesome with the bead locks on the inside. If I didn't have the bead locks, I probably wouldn't have gone lower than 20 PSI to be honest, because we really put these through a lot of torture. I reckon I could have run them even lower. In fact, I had a puncture on the back one and I ran that on 0 PSI for about an hour or so. Really, really cool. They twist up, do some really awesome, crazy stuff. Now I've got most of that feedback from the crew. The boys watching me tackle some obstacles in these. They were like a 3-axis twist in them. You can see I've gone back to 16-inch wheels and they're steel. And that's mainly because of what happened with the alloy wheels where the wheel came off. Nothing to do with that particular alloy wheel, just alloy wheels in general. Don't give you a warning. I did a whole video, so I'm not going to go into that too much. Also, these are much cheaper. They cost me like 105 bucks a rim. That's the tires. Let's move on. Before we get into the new tray on my 79, I just want to address a couple of things that I know will be in the comments. Bloody flies. What happened to the P-Core tray? Well, it was on there for 3 years. It was an awesome tray. I put it through a lot of punishment. I said it's my job to try and test different things. I don't change my vehicle every year. People appreciate the fact that I try different things. This is nearly 10 years old now, the 79. Had it for a very long time. So I like to change things as I go. I had an OTF tray before, a bit weighty. It was all steel. This is an aluminium tray. It is super light. Compared to the previous tray or the previous setup, I'll say, I've lost 80 kilos. And that's not just because of the tray, it's also because I moved 45 kilos worth of winch and cabling to the winch. That's all gone. Because that winch, I only ever really needed it once in the 3 years that I had it on there. I made way for a bigger drawer instead. Let's get into it. This is the new configuration or how I've set up the vehicle. And this is what it would look like normally if I go on any sort of trip in this vehicle now. Just general configuration how it is. My table lives on the roof. Just the normal mud terrain touring tyres on. I call them touring tyres. We're about to change over to the trepidors because of what we're doing out here. The tray sides are now completely square. It's like a box, so it kind of suits the squareness of the vehicle. It doesn't have those tapered ends as the previous tray did. Look, I didn't mind those tapered ends. I thought it looked really cool, but this is more practical for storing things. As you can see, I can now fit 4 boxes. I could only fit 2 before. I put the fridge over in the back corner so I can get to it on all different sides. So I can get to it this way and I can get to it this way. It gives me so much more access. I can fit heaps of gear now, a lot more than I could before, just from moving a fridge to that side instead. Just changing the configuration made these boxes fit a lot better. This tray is so new and I haven't even pulled these protective covers off yet. I've also damaged the tray already. So I'm a bit spewing about that, but the stuff we drove through, holy crap. I've damaged the body of the vehicle, I've damaged the tray here. I think I got a bit lucky there. This guard's pretty strong though. It took the brunt pretty good. I hit the tree just down there, I couldn't really stop. It's just a guard. I can actually remove that and get another one made up. So sorry, Luke. Might have to put an order in now. And around this side, that was the first thing I did. I completely damaged my toolbox on a rock step. Ooh. Also damaged this somewhere, I don't know where. Completely minced my rock slider, but that's what it's for. It's protection, bar work. Smashed my bull bar on a rock as well, but everything holds up. And that's what bar work's for. Trays are kind of good for that as well, but when it's a brand new tray, a little bit spewing about it, but we can get a toolbox changed. It's just a door and we can get the guards changed, so it's all good. Toolboxes both sides. Even though I damaged this one, it still opens quite well. The fuel filler is right here. Before I was stuck with one fuel filler, which was up here, split into 2 tanks. For 3 years straight, I did not know how my fuel usage was and my fuel capacity. I had a 110 litre tank and a 185 litre tank. Once the 110 litre tank was full, I struggled to fill up the 185 tank. So I never knew exactly how much fuel I had, and it does give you fuel anxiety when you're traveling remote. But now, separate tank, separate fillers. For the past 3 years, I've not known how much fuel my vehicle's been burning. I've not really understood my true range. I had a rough idea, but not really. Now, I've been able to calculate how much I burnt on the way to South Australia, and now I'm back in Perth. On the way there, I had a headwind a lot of the way. It wasn't towing, I was burning 18.5 litres per 100. Now that is a lot, especially when diesel is like $2.20, $2.30. Across the bloody Nullarbor, it's like $3 a litre. On the way back, I changed my fuel filter, and I had a tailwind, but I got 15.5 litres per 100, which is not bad. 15.5 litres to the 100 going at 110, thereabouts. Deeper draw than I had before. Most of my tools live in here. Just all stuff that I can use in a hurry. Other side, nothing too exciting. Another toolbox. This is all my airing equipment. So I have a compressor right here. You'll note that I've Linexed the whole tray. And we managed to get these pinstripes in it just to match the rest of the vehicle. The boys at Auto Bedliners in Wangara did a wicked job, so if you're north of the river and you're looking for a place, I can highly recommend these guys. Even went to the effort to give me that pinstriping on the drop sides, which I think is wicked. We also had Linex the top of the fridge, that's just a looks thing, and the secret box on the inside and the outside. What is in the secret box? Let's check it out. There's the secret box and the wheel holder. The wheels are on much more of an angle. The reason for that is this tray has a much narrower headboard. It gives you more storage than I had behind the wheels on the previous tray. This is sealed storage, hex heads on them, so it's not something you can get to really quick. This is when there's something going wrong with the vehicle. All my spare parts are inside here, like everything that I could possibly need. This is another one of those sides that's not important for me to get to in a hurry. Spare hubs in here, serpentine belt, spare fuel hose, new hoses. The most important side that I need to probably get to more often than any other side, because I have 2 bottle jacks in here. As you can see, they're nice and secure in there, so they're not going to bounce around or go anywhere. No moisture can get in, no dust can get in, so all the parts are going to be pretty safe. So I do understand that, you know, you probably need to get a jack out more often than not, compared to all the other items, but it doesn't take that long. So if you're going to pull over and you're going to jack your vehicle up with a bottle jack, that's where it is. In my workshop, I'll get the trolley jack out. Hidden underneath the tray, we have a stainless steel food grade 77 litre water tank. It's on gravity, so if my pump should fail or my electrical system should fail, I can get water out of here always. The other side where the fuel filler is, I will put a pump in there so I can run a shower straight off the tank. On a day like today, that water in there is going to be like 35 degrees, it's 40 degrees out here. It's bloody hot. With all those changes made, are there more changes coming? Likely. Look, this vehicle is 10 years old, next year it's 10 years old, and this has been an accumulative build over the 9.5 years of time, trial and error, experience, and as I said in this video, I see it as my job to trial and test things so you guys get an idea of my opinion on the product and how it holds up out in the environment. Most people out there with a channel these days will buy a new vehicle or receive a new vehicle every year and then put all kinds of new stuff on it. I'm very different. That vehicle, as I said, is nearly 10 years old, and this is all stuff from experience, my choice. How has it held up? That's what this is about. With that said, leave a comment down below if you have a question, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.